Lieutenant General retired Thomas Keck. He was the commander of the 8th Air Force at Barksdale Air Force Base on September 11th.
Thank you, Ben. Good morning and welcome to the Memorial Stair Climb. At the moment, you've got great seats on the 50-yard line, but that's going to change here shortly. Never forget 9/11/2001. It was a tragic day for America, very similar to 7 December 1941. Anyone over the age of 5 in 2001 knows exactly where they were, who they were with, and what they were doing. As was mentioned, 16 years ago, I was the 8th Air Force Commander at Barksdale Air Force Base in Shreveport, Louisiana. We had an exercise going, so the battle staff was up. We were aware that the first tower was hit. When the second tower was hit, we immediately went to real world ThreatCon Delta. Shortly thereafter, we got word there was an aircraft inbound that needed 150,000 pounds of gas, 70 box lunches, 25 pounds of bananas, and 40 gallons of juice and coffee. We figured it out very quickly. Air Force One was inbound. By the way, I never did figure out what the bananas were for. I greeted President Bush. I gave him my sharpest salute and said, "Welcome to Barksdale." And he said, "I guess I put you on the map." I said, "Yes, sir, you did." I got a call from the National Military Command Center that said, "Do not acknowledge the president is at Barksdale." I said, I looked over at my TV and CNN had an Air Force One in the flare and it said Barksdale Air Force Base under the bottom line there. And I said, okay, I won't tell anybody. What actually happened was Karen Hughes had convinced President Bush that he needed to stop and tell America they were going to be all right. Now today, with a thing called Boeing wideband, they can do a live telecast from Air Force One, but in 2001 they could not do that. But when you think about it, saying, America, you're going to be all right, I'm up here in Air Force One is one thing, but saying it from on the ground in the United States of America, it means something else. President Bush immediately said, I need to talk to the Vice President on a secure phone. I need to talk to the Secretary of Defense and Governor Pataki. I said, come with me, sir, and we went into the office. In the office, he worked his speech. He went downstairs to the 8th Air Force conference room, made a worldwide news release, and came back up to my office and sat on the sofa. Andrew Card and Carl Rove were busy. The President looked over at the TV monitor, and for the first time, he saw the towers come down. Now, nobody said, Mr. President, say this is what you want to do, this is what you want to say, use these words. He looked at me and said, I don't know who this is, but we're going to find out. And we're going to go after him. And we're not just going to slap him on the wrist, we're going after him. That's verbatim. I said something brilliant like, we'll help you do that, Mr. President. We will be in a fight against terrorism for the rest of our lives. Everyone in this stadium will be in a fight against terrorism. I had an opportunity, if you fast forward to April 15th, 2002, to visit New York, and they asked me if I wanted to go down into the pit, they called it, the location where the two towers were. Picture, if you would, 10 football fields, 8 stories deep. They said, do you want to go down? I said, absolutely. I went down and there were 3 firefighters, retired firefighters with orange vests and yellow hard hats on. And they were sifting through debris. They were looking for a piece of skin the size of your thumbnail for DNA purposes. And they were finding things at the bottom of the 8 stories deep. Finding things like holsters, firemen's helmets. As you recall, the first responders were at the bottom of the towers when the towers came down, trying to figure out how to get people out of those towers. And working to get them down and safely out of the towers. We came upon the three, and they introduced me as these three retired firefighters lost sons on 9/11. For the first time in my life, I was speechless, but fortunately I brought two captains with me, call signs Bugs and Breeze, and they reached in their flight suit pockets and pulled out arming lanyards from JDAM, which is a 2,000-pound weapon, that they presented to those firefighters and said, these were just dropped in Afghanistan. We just returned from combat over the skies of Afghanistan. These three firefighters, who had a 1,000-yard stare when I walked up, came alive, ran to their trucks, got us memorabilia. I got a piece of glass from one who'd etched two towers, and it's in a place of honor today. First responders run towards the gunfire, run towards the noise, as opposed to away. The cause you're supporting today, supporting first responders and their families, is extremely honorable, noble, and worthy. I can just give you a little bit of advice, having not done a stairway run. Run hard, run safe. Thank you.